Just press
Not enough, not enough, but I passed my Minnesota license today. So I'm licensed in 2 states.
There you go. Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ricky, how are you?
I'm doing good, Denny, and you?
Where are you again, Ricky?
I'm in the Prescott office.
Ah,
Yep, I'm now on the KCN team.
good. I understand the boss was up there this week.
Yes, she was. We had lunch when she was in town.
You guys?
No, Francelli was with us as well.
I'm jealous. I don't get to have lunch with her that often. Jenny?
Yes,
Glenda.
hi, Denny.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I need y'all pitching in because I don't have my wingman today. John is up at a hockey tournament, so it's just ussens. That's what my aunt used to say, ussens, which is a crazy word. I guess it must be an Ohio word. Ussens. No, she said Ewans. That's what she said. Obviously, I don't say it. Kevin, I heard the news. Congratulations.
Yes.
Kevin.
Thank you, Denny. How are you today?
Doing awesome. Got another minute before we start. Lisa, what happened to the car?
Catalytic converter, $22,200 later.
Well, at least somebody didn't steal it.
That's what everyone keeps saying. I didn't know that was like a thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they can drop them out of your car like in 5 minutes and they sell them to some sort of dealer that gets the stuff out of them. And I don't know, they're hot commodities.
Well, both of them are intact. I guess my car has 2 of them. Both are intact. One is shot. Ugh.
Got 30 seconds to go. So, hey, if you are new on this, make sure your name doesn't say Sherry for whatever reason. I don't know why it defaults to that. And if you want to put your city in there, you might meet some other agents and give you some referrals. I've got 1 o'clock Eastern time right now. So welcome to Denny Grimes, Master of Real Estate. And we always get together at 1 o'clock and have conversations. And the role plays, if you want to participate in a role play, you can. All you have to do is raise your digital hand and we'll let you participate. And you can tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how hard you'd like it to be. It might be an appointment you have coming up. It may be an appointment you just already had. You would like to basically replay it and maybe make it better the next time. That'd be up to you. And we always practice question-based listening enhanced conversations. We've got some people here on the call that were in my class the last couple of days this week in Bold. And we got to participate in a exercise called firing line, where you got some practice asking questions and handling objections. So that's what we're going to be talking about. If you have not been on my YouTube channel, Denny Grimes, the Mastery of Real Estate, got about 170 or 80 videos there. If you would like to go back and study and watch and learn how to have great conversations, how to overcome all kinds of objections, that's available to you. And if you have, can take a screenshot, I'll leave that up a second, or if you're not your phone, you can take a picture of that. That will take you to the YouTube channel, which is Be Lickety Split. And I have no co-host today, so I am letting everybody in and making sure everybody's happy. Mastery level role play. I appreciate you guys being in. There's also Recon, my last little plug. And this is a daily role play that John and I participate in with some folks from Keller Williams, Jen Davis from MAPS. Okay, here we go. I've got a thought of the day. How many reasons can you come up with? So if somebody were to say, should I buy today or should I sell today? What would be the best reasons you can come up with why someone should buy or sell today? I'm going to put them in the chat. Go ahead. You guys can chat it up. And I'm going to give you here in a second, after I see some of the chats come in, I'm going to give you 7 reasons why I believe it's a good time for sellers to sell, and buyers at almost the same 7 on the list. So I'll give you a minute to put it in there. And what's interesting is a lot of buyers and sellers think now is a bad time. Well, good and bad is relative. You have to have it compared with something. And so I guess buyers would be looking forward. I could have had 3%, 3.5%, 4% interest rates. Now I'm looking at 6.5%. Yeah, that's a difference. However, on the other side of that, and for every reason someone can come up with why it was better in the good old days, I sound like my parents, or my grandparents going back to the good old days. It wasn't that much fun for buyers. I think basically across the country, I can tell specifically here in my marketplace, our prices are not as high as they were. Buyers aren't having to compete near as much. So the buyers may have to pay a little more interest rate. However, they're getting a little bit off on the price. Let's talk about sellers. So there's 7 reasons why I think sellers should take advantage of the market now. And I won't let the complete cat out of the bag out of respect for my wife, because she is working with those that in her organization. There's something that you should be keeping your eyes on in the next month. And in theory, in the next month might be the best time for your sellers that are on the fence to get off the fence, because what might be happening in the financial markets around the country. So let me just give you 7 reasons. So this would give you a little bit of information on my thought of the day, that when you're having a conversation with a seller, they're going to say, well, I don't think it's a good time to sell. You can ask the question, would you like to know what the 7 reasons are? This is actually a good social post. So don't take a picture yet. Let me get up there really quick. I'll do this in a hurry. Across the country, I think it's generally true, although inventory is extremely low, it's not as low as it once was. So the inventory is growing. Why is that a good news for a seller today? Well, if someone's going to sell, don't you think they would be better off selling before the inventory grows too much? Absolutely. So today might be that day. Next, there's less upward pressure on prices. So what's happening is that prices aren't going up near as much. In fact, they've actually retreated a little bit, which makes other sellers want to get out of the market. And so the fact that the prices aren't going crazy, there's fewer sellers adding pressure to the inventory, the lack of inventory, and it makes a home worth a little bit more money for the seller. Here we go, more competition as sellers enter the market. Well, if inventory is growing, that means more sellers are coming into the market. And if that continues, selling sooner is better than selling later. Number 4, buyers' interest is decreasing. Well, then you better strike while the iron's hot. Now, this is a little bit of an interesting thing. I've got people here on the call that I've talked to this week in different markets, Des Moines, I think, then outside Minneapolis, and they're seeing multiple offers. We're seeing the market pick up a little bit. However, let's admit it's not as strong as it once was. And I don't know what's going to happen, although some are predicting the market's going to take a little tick up starting in the next 30, 60, 90 days. So get your sellers positioned for that. And if they could sell it for more money, would they sell it? Obviously, there's fewer multiple offers and bidding wars. So they're going to have to be a little bit more realistic on price. And so we can have some role plays on that. However, you can't win in this market unless you're in it. Interest rates are moving up. Well, I would probably change that slide. Many are predicting interest rates to slide a little bit, which will cause buyers to get off the fence and to start buying. And my recommendation is your sellers are there when they start to buy. And absolutely true, it might be better off selling today than tomorrow. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, take your camera Polaroid or whatever, and make a social post that says, basically, there's 7 reasons why sellers should be on the market today. Would you like to know what they are? It might just make your phone ring. So there we go. So let's go forward here a little bit, and let's talk about some objections. I've got a couple already pre-planned. Do we have anybody with their hand up? Where are my regulars? I don't see you guys yet. Arne, you're there. I don't see who am I thinking of right this second? Tanner. So I need someone to help me because I'm by myself. This is going to be all right. So I've got Ricky. Ricky raising her hand. Way to go. So I know that you're new with the Crystal Cole team, correct?
That is correct. As of a month ago.
Do you work buyers and sellers?
I do, yes.
And
I actually have 3 listing appointments next week, so that's why I want to jump on this call.
All right. So then I'm going to let you be the agent.
What is it?
You're going to
Yes,
be the
please.
agent then. And
Yes,
you're going to
please.
go on a listing appointment, and I'm going to be the potential seller. And
Okay.
for you guys that want to know, she's in Prescott, Arizona, which is a cute little town. Looks like it reminds me of Back to the Future. It's a little town square. So, all right. So you're meeting with me, Ricky.
Yes.
Ready? I've got my timer. You have 4 minutes. And
Okay.
what we want to do is make sure what we do here is we follow the model. Notice the model on the left-hand side. They acknowledge, isolate, answer, close. You ready?
Okay.
All right, so we're sitting at the table. Well, hey, look, I see all this stuff here, but I think my house is worth more than you say it's worth. Here we go, starting the timer.
Hey, Denny, I do understand that you think your house is worth a little bit more, but here are some 3 homes that are currently listed, and you want to stay in competition with these homes. I did call the listing agent, and they did tell me they are going to have to be dropping the price for their houses. So I think it would just make sense that given what is already currently on the market, this is where I see your house is at.
So awesome. I'm going to pause this just for a second. And this is this your first visit with us?
Correct.
Okay. So what we want to do is, what can you do asking a question? So first of all, going to the model, let's just reverse it just for a second, Ricky. Okay. You're now the seller. You said that to me. This is exactly probably the way we would model that. Number one, you would acknowledge it. I understand. Now we want to isolate, other than the fact that you don't think that's other than the fact you think your home is worth more money. Is there any other reason it would keep us from doing business today?
I don't know where I'm going to go next.
Okay, I got that. And there, and other than that, anything keeping us from doing business today?
No.
So, all right, now there's 2 objections. How do you handle multiple objections? Well, all right, so let me ask you, let's talk in terms if it's sold at the number you're happy with. What, oh, I gotta let these people in, I told them, hang on. Where would you be going? Now I'm going to her motivation, right? So where are you going when you sell?
Lower elevation.
Lower elevation.
I'm going based on a previous listing appointment I just had.
Well, I can tell you, I've been in real estate for 40 years in Florida. I have never heard that objection. I mean, you can't get lower than us. We're at frigging sea level, right? So you want to go to lower elevation, okay? And when would you like to be there?
Within the next couple of months.
Okay, and do you have to sell in order to find that other home?
Yes, I do.
Ah, okay. So when you say there's nowhere to go, have you been looking online?
I have.
Have you seen homes you would like to own?
There were a couple listed that I am interested in.
All right. So let me ask you, how are you going? Oh, I got to start this timer. How are you going to go back to, how are you going to own them if you have to sell first?
I guess I will have to sell, put my house on the market.
So, okay, then let's go to that part of the conversation. So do you want to get your home on the market now?
I'm a little skeptical. What if I don't close in time in order to get that other home?
Well, let's just assume the timing works out. And based on we looked at the past sales, so you started going over comps with me right away. So what number did you have in mind, Ricky, for your home?
I had 400.
You wanted a 400, and when I look at these past sales, we were talking they were closer to 350, 375, let's say. Is that fair?
Yes, that's fair. Yes.
So if we were to agree to have your initial asking price at 400,000, are you prepared to list today? And we'll have a conversation about where you're going to go next. Would you be okay if we started your home today at 400?
Yes, I would.
All right. So that's my first point, you guys, particularly when this timing, this window may be opening where the sellers will be on the market. My whole gig, the way I play the game is I don't get into a fist fight with them on the initial asking price. So if they want 400, all right. Now I didn't say it would be 400. I didn't even put my fingerprints on that. She wanted 400. What if I think the comparables are 375 and she wants 450? I'm going to ask the same question. What if she wants 500? I'm going to ask the same question. So I'm just going to set the second objection aside just for a moment. I've got 1:51. Let me walk you through the conversation about price. We can do that. We can do the conversation about where you're going to move, but I don't have time to do both in 1:51. So you said 400, correct? All right. So knuckle bump. I've got the commitment. Now, psychologically, what happens when you basically have the commitment, the knuckle bump, shake hands, whatever you want to do. Now, she's not signed the contract yet. The bottom line is that now, Ricky, do you mind if I move my chair to your side of the table? as
Yes.
your agent and give you some, and counsel you on this,
Yes.
then I'm going to say, what are you going to do, Ricky? This is exactly what I have you write down. This is the greatest way to say it. What are you going to do if the market says no?
We will have to come back to the table and discuss maybe lowering the price at that point.
Okay. And I'm just kind of curious. And then I'm going to go into, you guys know the 3 outcome sheet. And I think I have it coming up here if I can get to it. I think right there. That's it. And I even have a QR code. Take a picture of that, take a screenshot. Every listing appointment you go on, we talk about this all the time, should have that sheet. As you know, Ricky, there's only 3 outcomes when you list a home. Outcome number 1, here, we have low to no showings. And if anyone out there has a listing with low to no showings, you're in outcome 1, which means the bait is here and the fish are somewhere below that. There's nothing you can do to create that showing activity in that home. There's no amount of marketing. There's no amount of staging. You can have a Blue Angel air show at night or fireworks or have Toby Keith have a concert around the pool. It will not cause that home to be sold. Outcome 2 here, showings and no offers. Outcome 3, it sells. So, okay, we're going to be meeting every week and I'll give you a call every Monday. And I'm just kind of curious, if the doctor gave you a prescription for a rash on your hand that kept getting worse, how long would you take the wrong medicine before you wanted the right medicine?
That was a good one.
Of course it was.
I would take the medicine right away.
Right. So sometimes you're going to be able to, and by the way, I've asked this question before, what is the worst thing that can happen if you've got a seller that's basically uber aggressive for the market? Now again, we're going to list at 400. I just want to let you know, do you mind if I tell you what the risk is?
Yes.
You mind or you don't mind? Okay, so I'm assuming you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. Sorry.
No. The worst thing that can happen is a neighbor in a comparable area, comparable home, lists their home instead of at 400 or instead of at 375, where we think you should be, they listed at 350. Now, what does that do to the trajectory of the market value? So,
yeah.
All right. So that's how I would handle that. My whole philosophy is I'm going to agree with them on the initial asking price and then go over the sheet with them. And every week, hey, look, we've had no showings. What outcome were we at? Well, I guess we're outcome 1. Okay, what's the remedy? Well, I guess we'll have to lower the price, but I'm not ready to do it. Okay, we're going to have a call next Monday at 4 o'clock. And so you get where I'm going.
Yeah. So
nice job. Now, I'm going to see what hands do. Anybody have a hand up that wants to do it? I'm going to give you 2 minutes again, Ricky, to start this over again. And I want you to ask me questions and don't make statements. So right now I want to give you one objection. You know what? I don't like the price you gave me on the house. I think my home is worth more than that.
Okay, and I respect that. If we listed at 400, would you be okay or open to possibly lowering the price if we don't have any showings or any offers within the first couple of weeks of having it listed?
So we're going to go ahead and rewind. You almost had it. I thought you were going to have it. So
Okay.
I want you to get the commitment first.
Okay.
All right. So, hey, look, okay. So are you saying if we list at 400, you're ready to do business with me today?
Okay.
Let me psychologically hire you.
Okay.
Say it that way.
Okay. And I completely respect that. If I were to list your home for you at 400, would you sign the agreement today?
Okay. Now we're a mastery level conversation here. This is for everyone. I was taught by my first mentor, Tommy Hopkins, that we never say sign.
Okay.
It's always, are you ready to move? I would just say, are you ready to move forward? Now, why do I say I don't say sign? You'll never hear me use that word because your parents, at least my parents told me, never sign anything without getting a lawyer to look at it or read it or whatever. So I just take the word out of my vocabulary. So are you ready to move forward today?
Okay.
One more time.
I respect that you want the 400. When we list that, are you ready to move forward with me today?
Okay, so basically, yes, I know you got a little bit twisted there. If we were to, if that was the initial asking price, you're ready to move forward today. That's the close, you get the commitment. Nice job. All right, so anybody else working with a seller, I'm ready to give you an objection that we get a lot. We've even role played this in our bold classes today. Who wants to handle a seller's objection? I need someone to help me. I can't play golf or ping pong by myself. I'll have to call on someone. You can be the agent. I'll handle you can be the buyer or seller. Easy part. Penny, Lisa, Jeff Jones, Chase. I'm dying here. All right, Arne. Thank you for saving my butt. Okay, so which role do you want?
I'll be the seller because I'm a buyer's agent.
Well, then be a buyer.
Okay.
And Arne, there's background noise. Okay. Arne, can you get rid of that background?
Hang on one second.
Okay. I'll come back to her. Somebody else had their hand up.
Okay, I'm back.
All right, so give me the buyer objection.
Interest rates are too high.
I hear that a lot. That happened in the bold room. Okay, here we go. Reset here. There we go. I understand. That's the best acknowledgement. I understand. Other than that, any other reason why you wouldn't want to start building equity?
No, it's just making it way too expensive.
I got it. Now, let me ask you, again, the first question for everyone out there, first question is what? You just met her. Do you currently own or are you renting right now, Arne?
I currently own.
Okay. And now we go to motivation. If she were a tenant, that would be another conversation. And you want to find out first, right? So, all right. So let me ask you, you own a house now and you want to sell that and buy another, or you want to keep your existing home and use it for investment property?
We have to sell to buy.
And why do you want to move?
We want to downsize. The house is just, I mean, it's outgrown us. All the kids are out of the house and it's just too much to take care of inside, and our yard is too small. We would like something with a bigger yard because we do a lot of gardening.
I guess in a perfect world, then when would you like to make that move?
I mean, the sooner the better.
Okay. Now, you guys, I've got 4 minutes. Normally, you would go a little bit deeper. I'll give John credit. It's called 5 deep. You want to get into asking more questions. What is it about the bigger yard? What is it about the downside? So I'm assuming that you're going to ask those questions naturally. We don't have to practice it. The more you ask, the clearer you are. So let me ask you this. Okay, so you're deciding, you said you didn't want to move forward because the interest rates are too high?
Yeah, I mean, the mortgage on our current house, we've got, we refinanced down to, 3%. And
Okay.
we'd be crazy to let that go.
If you're taking notes, when they start mentioning rates, sellers and buyers will mention rates right now. You've got to get rate changed to payment to dollars. Rate means nothing. Nothing. All right. So when you say you refinance it, congratulations. So what is your monthly investment now in your existing home?
About $1,800 a month.
Okay. Now notice I didn't say payment. Why? Because people hate payments. They want investment. So, all right, your monthly investment is $1,800. And have you been looking at maybe where you'd like to go and get an idea what's out there and what the prices are?
Yeah, we found a couple of houses actually that we really love. They are more expensive, so it's going to be a higher payment, but
Okay. And what's the new payment going to be?
around $2,300.
Okay. And is that looks like $500 more a month, right?
Yeah.
Is that affordable for you, or is this something you just don't feel comfortable doing?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay. So let me ask you, from an affordability standpoint, where's your threshold on affordability?
We'd really prefer to be around 2,100 a month.
Now, why did I do that, you guys? I'm just going to stop. I want to give you some backdrop of what's going through my mind. When anyone has a conversation, you said rate, you've got to get it to numbers. When it gets to numbers, you've got to break it down. She's already paying $1,800. So the delta, the difference between 1,800 and 2,300, assuming her numbers were right, and please don't assume they're right, because she may have bad information. I'm just assuming they're right for now. Then I asked the question, okay, what's your affordability range? And she says 2,100. Now, this is the same conversation kind of in reverse if you're having a conversation with a for sale by owner that does not want to pay a commission. What you're doing is you're like, imagine a big slab of bologna or salami or whatever. What we're doing is we're slicing it down to a smaller and smaller piece. So we're never talking about 2,300. We're never talking about the $500 between 1,800 and 2,300. We're talking about 200 vaquitas. So when you say that, okay, so let me ask you, now she has another problem she's not brought up yet. She has a house to sell. We can handle that next. Yeah. So the $200. So when you just look at it, and if John were here, he could do this in his head. I grew up in Florida, so I use a calculator. So 200. So let me ask you, is there any way, I mean, would you let $6.50 get in the way of you having that house with a bigger backyard and, you know, the fact you have a smaller home, which by the way, probably won't cost so much to heat and cool, blah, blah, blah. It's $6 a day. Could you guys accumulate or save $6 a day?
I don't see why not.
What would it be worth it to have a cookie jar and maybe you put in your spare change, or maybe you just don't go to Starbucks one day a week or one time a day and you go to 7-Eleven instead, you'd be saving $6 a day. Would it be worth it to have that smaller house and big yard? So now again, that's a very rational argument. So you guys talk to me. I'm attempting to give you the Fred Astaire footsteps on the floor. These are the major steps in the cha-cha. These are the major steps when you're dealing with someone who has an interest rate problem. You've got to break it down into something like when you can say, okay, well, it's $6.33 a day. And in fact, I tell you what, here's $10. I'll pay for your first 2 days.
Well, now that you put it that way, yeah.
Okay. Break the numbers of what Sherry, I don't know what Sherry said that. Break the numbers down, what's your affordability range, slice it down to smaller pieces. There's actually a term for it when you look at sales books. It's called reducing to the ridiculous. And so when you break it, when you talk 2,300, that seems like a pretty big pill to swallow. However, there's Chase is back. However, $6 a day doesn't seem so big. Now, all right, I got Jenny.
Denny, can you give an example of, you mentioned about the FSBO, how you would use the same formula with the FSBO?
I would awesomely love to. Does anybody want to take it over? I mean, this is kind of like, I can do this with one brain time behind my back. So anybody want to do it? You brave, Lisa?
What are we doing? Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to try. I'm happy to do it. There is no try.
That's right. Thanks. So Jenny's going to be the unassisted seller, and she's going to say, "Well, I'm not going to hire you because I don't want to pay the commission." So, would you like to take that on for 4 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Jenny, you are the for sale by owner.
Yes, I can be for sale by owner.
Perfect. Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
Let's just assume now, this could be on the phone, although I really want you having these conversations in person. So you've invited her over, Lisa is an agent, and said, well, thanks for coming over. If you have a buyer, I'll you know, that's fine if you ever bring me a buyer. But I don't want to pay a commission. So that's the objection. Lisa, there's the model. Here's the timer. Your first time on the big stage. There's millions of people watching.
Okay. Jenny, I understand. Other than not wanting to pay a commission for, you know, if I bring a buyer, what else is keeping you from working with me, getting your house on the market with me?
Honestly, nothing else. I just feel like I can totally do it myself and put that extra money in my pocket.
Okay. Other than that, is there anything else?
No, I mean, I'm willing to pay you a commission if you were to bring me a buyer, and that's why you're here. I'm assuming you have a buyer for me. So yeah, I'm willing to pay your buyer's agent commission to 2%.
Perfect. Well, that sounds great. So when you say 2%, what, tell me more about what where did that number come into play?
Well, I just find it fair number. I've seen people, my previous house that we bought, the agent offered 2%. So I thought, you know, I did some research and I thought that will be a reasonable number that I can work with based off my sales price.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, my percentage is 3.5%.
Okay, well, I thought when you called, you said, I told you I'm offering 2%. And are you willing to reduce it? If you have somebody, I'm willing to pay 2%. That's where I'm at right now. If not, I'm just gonna wait on the market or take it off the market.
Okay. So, and waiting on the market, how's that going to work for you in the long run?
Well, I mean, we're gonna probably relist if it doesn't sell sometime in the fall. So yeah, you know, like I said, I'm willing to work with the buyer's agent, and I think 2% is a fair amount. And if you're willing to bring a buyer at that price, I will be happy to work with you.
Okay. Well, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to, you know, I do have a buyer. I'd like to, you know, to get my buyer in, walk through the home, get an offer written up. And then at that point, you know, you have three options. You can reject, you can accept, or you can counter. And at that point, you know, we can make a decision there. How does that sound?
Are you going to be charging me 2%? Is that what you're saying? Are you willing to reduce your commission?
I
Because
don't reduce my commission, no.
Yeah,
But
no,
what
I'm
you're-
not agreeing to that then.
Gotcha. Okay. But
Yeah.
what wouldn't you think that if you got an offer that was way over what your house was listed for, you wouldn't want to see that offer?
I would like to see that offer and then we
Okay.
can talk about it. But
Great.
if you're offering me way more than I'm listed at, then we can talk about it. But if you're bringing me anything, especially low offers or anything close to the asking price, like I said, I already budgeted 2% in, and that's what I'm willing to pay.
Gotcha. Well, I'm in the business of trying to get you the most money for your home and get my buyer into the home that they want. So how about we do this? How about we talk about numbers later, because you never know what my buyer could offer. So I wouldn't, if I were you, walk away from seeing an offer that could really knock your socks off.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it makes total sense. I don't mind looking at the offer and letting your buyer look at the house. Absolutely.
Awesome. When are you available to have myself and my buyer come by to take a look?
All right, well, good. You got 12
Okay.
seconds left, so we can stop there. So let's debrief this. Okay, so Jen, way to dig your heels in. I love it. You weren't rolling over on the number. How did you feel in the role play as the potential seller?
Are you asking me, Denny?
Yes, Jenny.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I've been a couple of FISBO appointments this week, and I feel like that's how they are. I think they really think they can do it on their own. And yeah.
Okay. I'm going to Lisa. How did you feel? What did you think you did well? What would you like to improve on?
I don't know. I mean, it's always so hard with that. I mean, I just feel like, what if I have a buyer that really loves the house and could offer more than what, they have it on the market for? And then at that point, then we can address the commission. I don't know. What do you think?
See, here's my thing is that what if you don't, like, what if I don't have that buyer and then moving forward, because there'll be a point where there might be one listing it with me or with another agent. So because I did not do what I promised, I feel like it always holds me back. I never tell them that I have somebody that will give them an over asking. I just tell them I have a database, but
I didn't promise that though. I didn't promise that. I said, what if?
Yeah, but like, what if like there is no buyer? Then what do I do?
All right.
Just like,
So great. That's great dialogue. I wrote that stuff down. So this is now let's go and open it up to everyone. So let me just give you a couple things notes I made. The first time you did great, Lisa, with the model. And again, this is Lisa's, I think, first time playing with us. She did acknowledge, and then she went through the isolation and she asked the first time, she said, what else? That's different than other than that. When you ask the question, what else, it's almost like you're expecting something else. Now, the second time she asked, she said, other than that, just a small thing. That's why I'm attempting to teach you exactly the words to use that work the best. So that's one thing. The other thing here, you want an extra money if I offer 2%. I noticed you never went for the listing. You decided to go for the buyer side and never went for the listing. So I'll model that for you in just a second. And just what Jen said, you got to be careful what you promise, because when you said offer, what if you had an offer way over what you expected? Now that sets up maybe an unrealistic expectation, and we're not in the market we were once in, where you have maybe they listed here and you sell it for $20,000 over. That's like Jen said, you don't want to paint yourself in that corner, because what if you don't? Last thing I'll say is this, and this is the first time I picked it up. If you are working with buyers and you're calling a for sale by owner, I would not use the term my buyer. Because what does the seller think when then you are basically, well, hey, look, it's my buyer, so how are you going to protect me? So I would just not personalize it. So Jen, I'm going to go back to this if you want, and I'm just let me see if I can walk you through and answer the question you had about fee. And I personally wouldn't probably die on the cross there of the buyer agent fee. So let me ask you, you want to save, you've done it before, you want to save, you're trying to save the commission, right, Jen?
yes, yes.
And how much are you attempting to save?
I mean, like I said, I did my math. I specifically listed the house, adding 2% on top that I would offer a buyer's agent. And I build it into my price.
Okay, so if you're willing to pay me 2%, then you're gonna work and do all the work of the listing agent. What's your real savings? What percent are you saving?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Well, if you're paying me 2%,
Right.
and you don't have a listing agent, so you're saving the listing agent's fee, correct?
Yes, I am.
What is that in your mind?
Well, I think what 6% usually is what they charge. That way we had our agent charge us previously when we were selling our other house. So yeah,
So,
I'm
okay,
saving 4%, which is a lot, I think.
okay. Well, if it's 6, in the past, haven't you generally seen that split 50-50? So 3%, 3%?
Yes, yes.
So now notice how I'm asking this, but I'm not negotiating with her on the commission yet.
Yeah.
So would it be fair to say that maybe you're attempting to save 3% by being your own agent, correct? Because if you're willing to pay another agent, I even took me out of it. If you're willing to pay an agent that gave you your number for your house, you're willing to pay them, let's say 2 or 3%, correct?
Yes.
Now, I had that whole conversation because I wanted her to find, you can't start reducing to the ridiculous until you have a number. It has to be their number. So whatever it is, let's say it's 6, it's 5, whatever, it's going to be half of that. So you're attempting to save, I'll just say 2.5%. Fair enough, Jen?
Yes,
So let me ask you this, and this is something you want to write down. What's more important to you, saving money or making money?
making money.
Now, somebody come off microphone and tell me the brilliance of that question.
I mean,
Do you think it's mutually exclusive? I mean,
yes, it's kind of like, it had me thinking for a second, like, wait,
because you can
Oh.
always, well, except for my wife who likes Chanel, you can always get it cheaper. Right?
yes,
However, cheaper is not always better. So when you ask that question, are you tempted to save money or make money? It does make them think. And quickly she said, make money. All right, so then there's a lot of ways to go. If you could make more money by hiring a professional like me, would it be worth a 5 or 10 minute discussion?
definitely.
Now I'm already sitting with her. Now she's listening. Okay, so let's just assume that an agent has a buyer. You're already going to pay that buyer. Congratulations. Now I'm going to make them feel good. Congratulations on making that decision, because according to the National Association of Realtors, most unassisted sellers like you are there's going to be somebody else, another agent that has the buyer. So I'm just going to stop this so you're not distracted by it. I'll just need another minute. Stop. All right. So let me ask you, how are you going to come up, if you're doing it yourself, how are you going to come up with your initial asking price?
Zillow, I looked it up, it gave me the number.
Okay, I get it. And is it possible, because Zillow is a computer that has never seen your home, that you could take that number and that number might be off? Let's say it's off 1%, just 1%. Is it possible?
It's possible. Are you saying my house is worth more?
Well, if it is, now notice I'm not answering, I'm asking the question because I'm controlling this. If it is worth more than Zillow says, would you want that in your pocket or the buyer's pocket?
I would want it in my pocket, Denny.
Well, who's going to let you know that? The buyer's not going to let you know.
Wow.
Zillow's not going to let you know. So let me just ask, is it possible that you or a seller that goes off of Zillow would misprice it by 1%?
Yes, possible.
Now you can get what I'm doing. I'm taking the slice of salami and I'm slicing it down. So all this work and stuff you're going through is not to save 5 or 6%. You're attempting to save now, not 3%. I just sliced 1% off. You're doing it for 2%.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you, is it possible then? It's kind of like Lisa's what if question. Is it possible that when the offer comes in from another agent that's working with their buyer, do you think they're going to be working to get the house cheaper for the buyer, which they know, or more expensive and put more money in your pocket?
Well, yeah, they're working for their clients, so of course they'll try probably get the best deal for them.
So, I mean, obviously you're sharp and you're astute. However, you don't do this every day like the other agent does. Is it possible that you might misnegotiate 1%?
I might.
So you're not saving 3%. You're maybe saving 1%.
Yes.
Oh, we're not done. So if they're having a mortgage, and by the way, they happen to have an appraisal come in, and the appraisal comes in a little short, which it sometimes does, what do you think they're going to do? Ask you to do?
To lower my price?
Right. And now it's another point of negotiation. Is it possible, because you don't do this every day and you're already 35 days into it and you've got a moving trucks all lined up. Is it possible the seller like you might cave in or capitulate a few more dollars?
Yes.
And how about when the inspection takes place? Or how about when basically there's no one monitoring the contract and they don't have their deposit in on time, etc. So let me just ask you, cut to the chase, Denny. Would you hire me if I were free?
Absolutely. You sound very knowledgeable.
And technically speaking, you see how I slice that? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
There is no freaking way a seller can sell their home and save money by themselves. A great listing agent is free to a seller. That's a great listing agent, not the average listing agent, a great listing agent. So somebody tell me what you're hearing, because that's the mindset that I want you to have.
The listing agent is free to the seller.
It is. You said that with an upswing, like that was a question.
Giving a thought. I mean,
No, I want you to tell me what you hear. I want you to believe that. Listen, I can go change my own oil. I have to figure out how to jack up and get underneath my car, find that little nut and take it off and then drain it. I gotta get rid of the oil. Isn't it cheaper for me to go to Juicy Lube or Jiffy Lube or whatever it's called to get my oil changed?
yeah, for sure.
Isn't it? I could pay anyone. Listen, anyone can sell their house. When they say I can sell my house, absolutely you can. Anyone can give it away. Aren't you afraid of leaving a little money on the table? And I can tell you what, there's 3 points of negotiation. That's three points of negotiation for a buyer and a seller. And that's, well, first they have to find the initial asking price, which Zillow can't answer. Or what if they have it already on the market? This is a buy owner and it's not selling. They're going to have to lower it. Is it possible that they lower it 1% more than they need to? Then they got the offer comes in, they have to negotiate. Then they have the appraisal, which they have to negotiate. Then they have the inspection, they have to negotiate. And by the way, they still have to hire someone to do the paperwork. And oh, by the way, what about their legal liability? So do y'all get that? It is reducing to the ridiculous. The very first thing. Now, notice I didn't even get into a conversation. The only thing I did is I planted the seed because her last house was 6%. That it's typically 50-50. So there, Lisa, I planted the seed that maybe you should be looking at paying 3%. Oh, by the way, you don't want your house to be a disadvantage, do you? What do you mean? Well, other sellers are paying 3%. So do you want yours to sell with the best buyers, or you want the other homes to sell with the best buyers? So is it worth 1% to you? You see?
Yeah.
So it's always about them. So I got 15 minutes. We try to keep these in 15 minutes. Who is next? Who's got their hand up? And I've got some people here. I know that basically I got Jeff here. I've got Bryant. Bryant, you here? You coming in? You got Rosa. Come on, I don't have John. I feel like I'm flying without goose. Is it really that bad? All right. Somebody give an objection then. I keep going. If you can stump me, 2 tickets to Greece. Somebody be a buyer or seller. Jeff, you're muted.
I'd like to sell, but I just can't give up my 3.2% mortgage.
Okay. I got it. What's the first thing I say, guys? I understand. Other than that, any other reason why you wouldn't sell in today's market?
Well, I think I might have. I think I might be paying too much if I'm giving up my 3% mortgage, then I have to buy something and finance it at a higher rate.
Well, let me ask you, Jeff, why are you thinking about leaving the home you're in? Now, again, I got to go to motivation. You need that. You need some clarity around that. Why are you leaving this great house to go to another house?
Well, I get, yeah, okay. So I want to be closer to my family.
Oh my gosh, seriously? So, all right. So you want to be close to your family. What will that do for you?
Well, it'll give me peace of mind to enjoy my family. I don't get to see them but once a year, so I'd like to be closer to them so I could spend more time with them.
Where are they?
Pardon?
Where is your family?
Cleveland.
Oh, and you're in Florida, let's assume. Now that's important because if they want to be 10 minutes closer, that's one thing. That's 1,200 miles. All right. So watch this. This is going to be really good. So have you been looking at houses up in the Cleveland area, at least shopping online?
Of course.
And let me ask you, do you have to sell your home here in Florida to buy the house in Cleveland?
Yes.
Okay. And based on what we can sell for, and by the way, you say you're 3.2%. What is your monthly investment?
Yeah, I love that. You turn it into dollars and then it's not so significant, right? I mean, my current mortgage payment's $3,300.
Yeah, I'm about to nail you, okay? And so as you're thinking about going to Cleveland and you look, and I already know because I'm from Ohio, not far, my son lives in Cleveland. What is the price range of the houses you're looking at there?
Lower.
And so although the interest rate might be higher and the price range is lower, what will your monthly investment be on your house in Cleveland?
Probably the same or lower.
Okay, so help me understand where you're having the challenge, because you're actually going to be paying maybe a higher interest rate. However, you are closer to your family and your monthly investment may be less. So where is the challenge for you?
Probably just the thought of giving up 3 and paying 7 or 6.5.
Okay, so in other words, what you're saying, could I restate that? You're saying you're giving up paying $3,300 a month to paying $2,850 a month. That's what you're going to. You're looking at the interest rate. You're not looking at your monthly investment.
No, I think that's great, Denny. I mean, that's why you're taking, the pain out of the interest rate difference and turning it into what is the financial impact on your budget. Even if it's a little more or a little less, you've now isolated it to less pain.
I haven't given you pain yet. I'm about to.
Bring it.
What you're saying then is, listen, if it makes no sense other than saying, that's idiotic, that's not going to build rapport. What you want to do is ask a series of questions that doesn't make sense. Now what Jeff's going through is very, very real. There's a lot of sellers that should be on the market that aren't because they're locked in. I've got this precious little 3.2% interest rate. I'm not going to give it up. Now, so what you're saying, Jeff, is that your family isn't worth a lower payment. In fact, you would rather hang on to a lower interest rate than hang on to memories of you being close to your family. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
now
You've got the pain and you've translated it into what the actual financial impact is. So no objections.
So there might be, and I'm not saying I would be that direct with someone. It really depends on a lot of things. I just wanted you to be able to know that for everything that they are seeing, they are not seeing something else, and that's, quote, the pain. And you don't have to be that graphic to say, okay, so you're not gonna build memories because you want on your tombstone, I died with a 3.2% interest rate.
Beautiful, Denny. Great job.
All right. Come on, I want somebody else to play. Who's ready to do another one? This is where we learn. Man, we got a good group on here. No one's chatting. No one's talking to me. We got 8 minutes, then it's happy hour. Who's next? Why is it so scary? Penny?
I got one.
You dodge moose or meese or whatever, a lot of mooses. So can you be a buyer or seller, Penny? You have buyers and sellers in Alaska, right?
Today's my second day at work. I haven't gotten my real estate license yet.
Okay, well then you can listen. All right, so I want to have, okay, so I've got top row up there. I got Ricky, I've got Lisa, I got Arne. You guys have been on. I got Jen. We've got time for one more. You can pick it. You can pick agent or buyer or seller. Let's do it. This is how we grow. All right, Arne, you're the agent.
Okay,
All right, and then Ricky, you are a buyer or seller. You choose.
I'll be the seller.
And your
oh wait,
what is your objection?
My objection is, I guess the main one that I'm just dealing with right now is, again, which I wouldn't mind replaying that if that's okay, is I don't want to sell right now because I don't know where I'm going to go next.
Now, are you ready to handle that, Arne?
I can try. I haven't worked for the seller in years, but okay.
Well, okay, so you mind if I handle that? Because
Go for it.
all right, so write this down, you guys. This is the conversation with a homeless seller. There's several steps to it, and I will handle this. Start. So are you saying basically, Renee, Ricky, you are afraid of selling because you are afraid you're not selling because you don't know where you're going to go, right?
Yes, I don't know what my next move would be if I were to sell my property, if it was to sell quickly.
Got it. I understand. Other than that, any other reason why you wouldn't want to get your home sold?
You know, there are some talk about interest rates, and as of right now, I do own my home outright cash. I haven't had to have a loan in 20 years. So I don't know what that would look like. I guess, if I were to purchase a home with a loan.
So I'm asking you guys, when you're there, what's next? Y'all know I say it all the time, starts with an M, ends in Asian motivation. So why are you thinking about selling this house and buying another house?
So this one, I want to move out of Arizona. I'm going to Colorado to be closer to my grandkids.
Okay, and when would you like to be there?
I don't really have a time frame as to when I am retired, so there's not really anything pushing me immediately. That's just one of mine and my husband's goal.
Okay, and you have to sell the home you're in now to buy the house in Colorado?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so
We are on a fixed income, and both of us are retired. Don't really have money coming in other than our Social Security.
So have you looked in Colorado in the area? Have you been kind of window shopping online?
That window shopping, yes. I do not have an agent over there currently.
Okay, and so when you've been window shopping, have you seen some homes that interest you?
Yes, I have.
And would you consider them affordable in your price range if you got your home sold?
If I were to sell the number that I would hope to get for my home.
Okay, and how often do you see those homes come up?
In this particular area, it is very rare.
So how often?
I've noticed since I've been looking, maybe every couple of months.
Okay. So you would think every couple of months something comes up. If your home were sold and you sat there with a pocket full of cash, within a month or two or three, a home would come up that you could buy, right?
Yes.
Now, that whole thing, I took basically 2.5 minutes to lay little traps out there. What
You got me.
what I'm doing is setting up the close. And you can't, if you're fishing, you can't yank on the rod too fast, you'll lose the fish. So, okay, so here's one of my sweetest closes, conversations / scripts. Well, how would you like to have your cake and eat it too?
Oh, of course, absolutely.
And this is exactly how you handle the homeless seller. So, because she's in a pickle. Well, let me ask you, if you were to see the house over there and your house isn't sold, what is your plan?
That I don't know. I don't really have a plan as of yet.
So, and I'm out of roll right now. I'm talking to the rest of you guys here. there's no way that they're going to get a good deal on a house, particularly a house that's just on the market with a contingency, are they? If you were the listing agent, you wouldn't let them have a contingent listing, right?
Especially without the house being on the market.
Exactly. And so the issue is, and this is worth writing down and remember it, is that don't solve a problem that they don't know they have.
What was that again? I'm sorry.
Don't solve a problem that they don't know they have. You see, they don't know where they're going to go. They haven't thought through it enough that though if they knew where they were going to go, they're going to say, Shazam, how am I going to get there? I got to sell my house first. So I'm going to solve them. I can heal all of these sellers. So how would you like your cake and eat it too? And I'll finish with this in 1 minute. That'd be a big fat yes, right? And forget about the fat because it's cake. That'd be a yes, right?
Yes.
Well, what if there were a buyer out there that would give you your number? What if? And allow you to stay there for 2 or 3 months until that right house comes along. So then you've got your money, they've closed on the house, you've got your money, you can be a cash buyer, and you can go lickety split over there and swoop up that house that comes on the market because you're a strong cash buyer. What
That would be a dream, flawless transaction.
You know, that buyer might exist. You know that? And here's the thing, if that buyer were out there, would you want to find them?
Yes, I would.
Then congratulations. And I have a radio ad like this, you guys. You're a golden seller. A golden seller is a seller that wants to sell but doesn't want to move right away. Because there's people out there that would find that a golden opportunity because they're not ready to move into the house either. And they want somebody like you to take care of it. So let's set up a listing. Let's go find that buyer and you don't have to sell it. I put it right in the comments that the buyer has to give you 90 days post-closing possession. And that gives you up to 90 days, for example. If what, notice I didn't say that. That's what she said. That's why I went through that conversation. And do you think that would work with someone who was a little concerned where they might go next? Now, was any of this worth the price of admission? It was kind of free, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
So somebody, you've been so quiet. I don't even think you're there. I think you got somebody, you're paying someone to have that Zoom name up there just to impress me. So thanks for having the cameras on. Does somebody have an aha before we go today? Because it's Friday and it's close to happy hour.
Well, I appreciate the verbiage that you give. And I guess the one moving forward instead of signing, I think, and then obviously numbers and breaking things down like that, that will definitely help me with my future listings. So thank you. Thank you, Denny.
You're welcome.
Yeah, investment, not payment.
Yep. Thank you, Myra. Well, I tell you what, listen, all of these are recorded. Go to my YouTube channel, Denny Grimes, the Master of Real Estate. This will be posted. You can watch it again. My number is 239-851-4600, 239-851-4600. If you have any questions and want to talk to me, that's what I'm here for. I love helping agents. It's Friday. It's a weekend. Be careful out there. Love you. Mean it. Knuckle bump. See ya.
Thank you, Denny.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks, Denny.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Always enjoy attending.
Thanks. Bye.